Good evening, weebs across the globe. Welcome to 4Weebs, That Anime Podcast. My name's Liam, and listen, the wife's going out tonight. I'm gonna have the guys over, gonna watch the fish on the big screen. I'm gonna grill up some brats. I've got a microbrew chilling in my wet bar, and I was gonna warm up some ziti, so why don't you come by if you got some triple fried pizza dough or some kind of frozen meatballs or whatever it is. You can warm it up in the microwave, or you can warm it up back at home, bring it over piping hot. But if you want to bring over a vegetable medley, a croûte d'état, figure out how much lunch meat you can spare, maybe bring over 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of Black Forest ham, maybe a Dijon mustard spread, and any kind of dessert, maybe a German chocolate cake or something like that. I tell you, what would make you a big hit with the dudes? Get some key lime pie, I'm talking about some ice cream on the side, and you have got to take a bite of my homemade ziti. I'm gonna warm her up, and she's just been in the freeze.
Okay.
But you know what I love is those hot mozzarella sticks. Cube them up, put them in some marinara sauce, have them stand by. Of course, you can't go wrong with some sour cream and onions, so long as you bring ridged chips.
What? Okay. Are you done? My name's Leah, and I'm really confused. Please tell me that was not in your anime episode.
No, that wasn't a quote from Berserk.
Oh, thank God.
What was it from?
I watched the wrong show. I'm also hungry.
Oh no.
So yeah, Leah, you introduced yourself, right?
I just said my name's Leah, and I'm confused. And hungry.
I'll go. Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Veda. It was far too large to be called a sword. Far too large, thick, heavy, and much too crude.
Is that? Oh, nice.
That was a quote from the show.
Why didn't I do that?
It's okay.
You know, an anime
Becca.
is distracting when you don't... I'll say it after. Becca, go.
Okay.
What? Sorry, I was somewhere else.
Your turn.
I'm Becca, and I don't know, I could get down with some yaoi like that.
You just heard me start my long stupid quote, so you went to go get a snack.
I've seen that episode, dude. Nah.
Okay, what is it from?
What is it from?
Tim and Eric.
That is from Tim and Eric. Okay, I should have
Yeah.
known.
Yeah, I should have too.
Didn't know.
I got to
What were you gonna say,
experience my
Leah?
first episode of Tim and Eric.
If you're in the mood for anti-humor and not anime listeners, check out some Tim and Eric. But if you like anime with swords and violence, you'll like this episode, because this was the Berserk 1997 and Berserk 2016 episode. And I picked animus. I figured we should do Berserk eventually because the new Berserk came out this summer. It was a hot topic. Lots of discussion.
One of the hottest.
Like a hot mess.
Yes.
Yeah, what I was going to say before was that I'm like, you know, I didn't enjoy an anime when I'm so distracted by the animation, I can't pick up on those highly inappropriate quotes.
Think
But we'll get to that.
So, before I do the synopsis for Berserk, fun fact, and if you go to the top manga on my anime list, Berserk is number 1, the manga.
Serious.
It's been going for quite a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
The anime, the one from 1997, is rank number 155. It's got an 8.4, which is pretty decent. So that's from 1997 to 1998. It was one season. And then I believe in 2015, there was two or 3 part movies that came out. That kind of pick up right after the first show ends. But, obviously it's way later and they added some CG and stuff. And then summer 26, I think it was summer or spring 2016, the newest Berserk came out, which picks up right after the movies. So I'm just saying this now in case anyone has the thought, why are they starting with Berserk 2016? That's the 3rd arc of the story. Yes, I know, but this
mostly because we don't give a fuck.
it seemed like this was the best way to present it in the episode. 3 of the newest one, and then 3 of the oldest one. I did warn Leah and Veda beforehand that it is picking up after some story, but you know, there's lots of other stuff to talk about as we'll get into, I'm sure.
Do you think it's like Dragon Ball, where you can kind of watch Dragon Ball Z separate from Dragon Ball in general?
I figured it'd be something like that. I
that's
feel
what I'm
like
thinking.
I feel like most shows, like, there's only so much you can. I mean, obviously, if you're watching like season 5 of Game of Thrones without seeing like the first 4 seasons, there's gonna be some issues there. But I feel like with a show like Berserk, there's
like I'm not getting into too much detail about it, but in kind of a one sentence thing here, like I felt 2016 Berserk was okay without seeing what happened beforehand. I feel like you may have like appreciated what was going on more if you'd watched what was prior, but I wasn't sitting there like super confused or anything.
Yeah. Well, I figured with Berserk, since like it had been almost 20 years since like the last TV show, that like there's only so much they could get away with in terms of like having the backstory. Anyways, so do we feel like I feel like we should deal with the more hotter topic first and talk about Berserk 2016.
I would say doing the first one first.
Oh yeah, that might make sense.
Because then we might be able to pick up on some things.
I just want to hear about that CGI, dude.
We'll tell you in great detail.
We'll tell you all about it.
Don't worry.
Later.
Sometimes you gotta let it build, Liam. So
build and then climax.
Yeah, you can explode in joyful glee.
Sploosh.
Sploosh.
Okay, well, here's the synopsis for Berserk 1997, which was watched by me and Becca-san.
Me?
Born from the corpse of his mother, a young mercenary known only as Guts embraces the battlefield as his only means of survival. Day in, day out, putting his life on the line just to make enough to get by, he moves from one bloodshed to the next. After a run-in with the Band of the Hawk, a formidable troop of mercenaries, Guts is recruited by their charismatic leader Griffith, nicknamed the White Hawk. As he quickly climbs... Sorry?
No, I'll get into it later.
I felt like saying something about his lovely flowing white hair, but...
We'll talk about it in a minute.
As he quickly climbs the ranks in order to become the head of the offensive faction, Guts proves to be a mighty addition to Griffith's force, taking the Midland by storm. However, while in the band's quest for recognition continues, Guts slowly realizes that the world is not as black and white as he once assumed. Set in the medieval era, Berserk is a dark, gritty tale that follows one man's struggle to find his own path, while supporting another's lust for power and the unimaginable tragedy that begins to turn the wheels of fate. Felt like I got the first half of that synopsis pretty solid, and then the second half, the bad anime list forever got to me.
That's better than how I usually do. So
I was like actively trying pretty hard to get past the like writing on that one, but
yeah,
did good.
One day,
as per usual, Mal drops the ball, and so do we by relying on it.
You know, we always harp on Mal for this, but
we always go back.
But we
pretty
actually
nice.
love
now that we have Mal accounts, I just have a new. It's like
it's a love-hate.
It's a whole new world.
We'll have to talk about our accounts maybe again at the end. I should wonder how many days of anime I've watched.
Oh no.
I'd like it stated that I got into this mood where I want to watch Brotherhood again.
Oh yeah.
I'm on the last disc. It's been like 4 days.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
And yet you dropped Inuyasha after the first movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Typical.
And you still haven't finished Ava, have you?
Nope.
Oh, Leah.
Hey, cut her some slack.
I mean,
you're saying that because you haven't finished Code Geass, so we're on the same team. I approve.
Unlike you guys, man. I finish what I start.
I finished some shit, just not any of that.
Becca finished Super Lovers, so no one can talk about
Fair enough.
Yeah, but none of us wanted her to finish Super Lovers.
It's true.
I wanted to finish Super Lovers.
Exactly.
One day we'll talk about it, like, thoroughly.
Oh boy.
Hopefully by then I'll have forgotten most of it.
Anyways, so right. Berserk.
Yes.
So, what were your initial thoughts, Becca?
Holy shit, I was expecting this to turn to a yaoi after episode 2. And then it didn't, so, like, it's okay.
Back to Super Lovers.
Yep. No, this one was better because... We'll get into it later.
So
your initial thoughts?
Your initial thoughts were that it was good.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. My initial thoughts were I knew it was pretty old, so I was expecting something pretty dated, and I guess the animation was a little dated, but the show holds up pretty well. The only thing that I thought was pretty bad was the opening song.
Oh my god, can we reserve 5 minutes to talk about that?
Let's talk about it right now.
Okay, that fucking song was... So the show is all about this guy who's a mercenary who kills people for money, and then the song is some poor Japanese gentleman doing his best impression of someone who knows English.
Oh no!
And the guitar,
guitar
playing is out of tune.
Yeah,
it's soft rock.
I'm gonna go listen to this
super
right now.
Soft rock. It's not for a show that's all about killing people and
it doesn't match
blood and guts. It is completely the wrong. I could see it as the closing song, not the opening.
Why did that seem to happen in the 90s so much?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was almost too bad because I watched the first bit of the show and then the opening happens, and the opening made the show seem a lot worse than it actually was for a little bit.
Ouch.
After the first episode I was over that, but man, and
after
the animation,
first episode, I skipped it every time.
The animation for the opening was fine. It was a little generic, but it's obviously one of those shows where the energy wasn't put into the opening, which is fine.
But I feel like Berserk is probably something that starts a genre. It reminds me a little bit of Rurouni Kenshin, where you have the main guy that everybody's following, and this one isn't nearly as funny as Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, this one's supposed to be I was expecting something pretty dark. So.
But it's all about the awesome fighter dude who's helping the littler people, kind of. And then the fucking opening makes it seem like a piece of shit.
Okay, based off what I've heard now, I'm almost done the opening. It sounds like a really bad, prepubescent teen boy band from, the 90s.
But no, the guy is speaking,
He's definitely got an accent.
English.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I was but it's Japanese.
Poor guy.
He doesn't have to do any of this in English. He could just do it in Japanese. I don't feel bad.
English is edgy.
I don't feel bad for him at all. That was a choice. He made it, and now he has to live with it.
Aww. They probably forced him into it.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know. The first episode I watched was dub. Then I watched sub, and in the sub they had subtitles for the song. Then I watched dub again for the last episode.
Yeah, I watched it all in dubbed except the first 5 minutes or so of the first episode.
Yeah.
Because I'm fucking lazy, and the dub was not bad.
Yeah, I mean, for an older anime, the dub was pretty decent.
Can we talk about how old it is for a minute?
I guess it's 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's coming up on its 20th year. I felt we've watched shows that are 10 years younger than this show that have looked 10 times worse.
True.
Wow.
This show, I thought the animation was really good. It's obviously 90s style, but it was really well done. Yeah.
I find that anime almost in that 90s period kind of hit a consistent peak.
Yeah.
Where it all kind of looked the same, but it was all really good for
fair.
its time, Yeah. And then it's the 2000s came and they discovered new ways to do things, and then it kind of went downhill for a bit, and then it's been kind of up and down ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, they discovered new ways to do things, and then it took a while for them to kind of figure ways to incorporate the new technology into the workflow with the traditional technology.
Thing going on right now.
Not just CG, just ways of doing the drawing digitally as well, and using cells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and you think Evangelion came out in the 90s too, and that
and
of course there were
really
shitty 90s animes.
Oh yeah,
of course.
We've
but it was
just
kind of
gotten them.
It was a gold
ones.
period, I guess.
Yeah.
But any of the higher budget 90s animes I found all looked consistently good.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it's probably the manga was pretty popular by the time this show got made, so and it is a seinen manga, so for older audiences.
Yeah.
So they probably knew they couldn't get away with a lazier kids show, I guess. So.
Yeah. I think for how old it is, it looks really good.
Yeah, me too.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah.
My original point, I was gonna say that the dub was pretty decent. The sub was, I found the sub kind of matched the tone. Like the voices, the Japanese voices just felt like they just felt more natural for the characters, I guess.
Okay.
Like especially Griffith. Like his
Yeah.
Japanese voice was very like calm and mysterious
and
like serious, and then I found his English voice was a little like it kind of was a bit. It was a bit confused between like the kind of calm and mysterious and like a guy that sounded like younger and not as confident as he should, considering his character is like super powerful.
See, I think he just sounded kind of like an average Joe in the dub myself.
Yeah,
he didn't have, there wasn't anything particularly fantastic about the performance, but I didn't mind it at all. I didn't have any critiques on it either. All I know is that he's super hot, and I would read some yaoi fan fiction. Please send me yaoi fan fiction of him in Guts. I didn't say that.
But you did.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I did really like, because in I believe it's the first and second episode, there's kind of like the demonic voices, or like the mysterious, like other sidey voices. I thought they did a really good job with the English.
Those are pretty good.
They were pretty creepy, and I really liked that.
Yeah, those could have easily gotten way too goofy, but they didn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the first episode a bit more, because it starts off just kind of in a fairly generic medieval town in a tavern, and there's this really like uncomfortable scene of this girl getting like abused by a bunch of mercenaries in a bar, and no one in the
bar,
no one in no one in the bar is doing anything because they know if they like speak up, they'll just straight up get murdered.
Yeah.
So that was like, I found they got the tone in that really nice.
See,
I mean, not nice. Like I felt uncomfortable, which is what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But then Guts comes in, and he's got like a crossbow machine gun on his arm, so he kills some dudes, and then has
I thought he was just super awesome at shooting.
No, he has like a repeating crossbow on his arm, so he has like a little crossbow cartridge that he reloads it with, and then of course he has his signature big ass sword that he just like. Everyone sees it, they're like, how can he even wield that? What the hell? And like it just smashes through cobblestones. But you kind of realize after a second he's not there to save the girl. He just wanted to attack the dudes and find out where their leader was. And without getting into too much detail, then there's kind of like a bad guy introduced, like ruling over this town, who's not really a human. He's like an evil snake man. Fight scene with them, and then Becca was talking about kind of the demonic things, so that's kind of like an intro, but they don't really explain a lot of it, but that's okay because the episode ends where it goes back to like goes back quite a while to where like the synopsis was saying, kind of like as Guts runs into the Band of the Hawk, so it does a big time jump from like him being this dark mercenary guy, and then jumps back to him being a bit younger. He doesn't have the crossbow on his arm, and his sword's a bit smaller. And I found like I didn't mind that first part at the beginning, but like the first episode ends with kind of on a cliffhanger of him as a younger guy, and I was pretty excited for that. I liked that stuff. How did you feel about the first episode?
Well, it kind of feels like you're kind of dropped in media res, and that like the second and third episode, you're going back to find out his backstory and how he gets to the point where he ends up in the bar killing these people just to find their snake leader dude. Like, I like the way it set it up. I wasn't expecting it to suddenly go back to like his past for 2 episodes, and I'm assuming for at least a few more. I don't. How long does the series run? Like this particular portion of the series?
25 episodes.
Okay, so like I said, like you're kind of introduced to him being not quite human in the first episode.
Yeah, he's definitely got some sort of supernatural powers in the first episode, which I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting there to be as much like magical and supernatural stuff as there was in the first episode.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I was trying to articulate. I feel like my words were kind of all over the place.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, and it just feels like it's kind of neat to be given that little bit of a taste of, like, this is where he's at the beginning, like, in the middle of the series where you're going to pop up later on, I'm assuming. But you're going to get to see that how he went from being, like, this little kind of, not scrawny kid, because when he's introduced as, like, a younger kid with, like, this fucking sword that's as long as he is tall. Like, he's fucking built already.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how he becomes caught up with these, like, supernatural aspects that are, that have fucked with him somehow, and he's obviously not happy with it, but he's, like, indebted to them or something.
Yeah.
It sets up a couple questions.
It kind of gave those demonic pact vibes off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you articulated what I was trying to say with, like, the having that bit of the future Guts in the first episode just, like, made his past life that much more, like, intriguing.
Yeah. Sometimes I talk good.
One small detail that I really, really liked, it's like, for some of the action scenes, the animation was a little simplistic.
Yeah.
Which, you know, anime's hard to make, so I can forgive stuff like that, especially when it's 20 years old. But, like, his big sword, he doesn't have a scabbard, like a sheath for it on his back, because it's so big. He has, like, a leather loop that it goes through, and then there's kind of a cap at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And when he has his sword out of the sheath,
it makes him look like he has a kitty tail.
Yeah, they still have the strap of leather with the cap on it animated, which, like, that I thought that was just it does look like a tail sometimes, which is funny, but I thought that was like a really clever attention to detail, because, like, I've watched a lot of fantasy stuff, and Sword Art Online is kind of well, I don't know if you can say it's a bad thing for this, but it's like a lot of time people just, like, put the sword on their back and then it just stays there. And there's like no straps hanging onto it. It's like just the way they animated the show, like everything, they just added those small details that, like, go a long ways.
See, I get the feeling that this was quite a large budget production in the 90s. Yeah, for compared to, like, what we get today, the animation's a little bit less shiny, and it's definitely, I'm not sure how to explain, like, it's not as high quality as you'd expect today, but it still feels like a high budget production, like you're saying, with, like, his cap for his sword flying around and all that stuff. Like,
there's attention to detail.
There's a lot of work put into this show, and you can tell that just by even watching the first 3 episodes, and that's intriguing to me, because, like, I know Berserk is quite popular, but I don't actually know anybody who's watched it.
I know a couple people have watched it. And, like, well, I know two people I've talked to that are big fans of it. Mm-hmm. I know one of them's seen bits of the new one and was kind of had mixed feelings about it, and then one of them has, like, just watched the original.
Yeah.
And I know our friend Miles, shout out to your boy Miles, he was asking about Berserk. I think he was asking us to review it, so I guess after we're done recording tonight, I should let him know that we recorded a Berserk episode.
Yeah, and then he should listen to it. Eventually.
I guess while we're shouting out to Miles, we should say he has a cool YouTube show called Sega Virgins.
Yeah.
Like a video game Let's Play channel. So there you go, Miles. Free plug.
Where's ours, motherfucker? Come back to Calgary.
Anyways, where were we? Let's talk about the girl character. I feel like that's the next point we should touch on.
Okay.
I thought it was cool that they had... I mean, anime usually is, like, pretty good for having stronger girl characters compared to a lot of other older shows. So, like, there's a character in the Mercenary, the band
Does
of
she have
Hawk.
reddish hair?
No, she's actually brown-skinned, which is
never
cool.
mind.
She's brown-skinned mercenary girl, and she's kind of like...
eyes.
Does she have short hair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Pink lips.
It's kind of like reddish-brown, I suppose.
Yeah. I think they show her in the new one.
Oh, yeah.
Very possible, because you definitely
Also, as if she had reddish hair, but I don't remember her being, like...
She's definitely, like, a dark skin.
Yeah. Definitely.
There was a character like that, yeah.
She's kind of, like, key to Berserk's past. Her and
Guts' past?
Guts, sorry. So, okay, so for the very first episode, I completely forgot his name was Guts. I thought they were calling him Gus with an S.
Hey, Gus.
Like the mouse from Cinderella, and I was like, that name does not suit him at all. And then I realized what was going on and how stupid I was, and it's all better now.
Oh, that's great. Poor Gus.
Okay. I looked it up. She's not the one I was thinking of, but her name's Casca.
Ah.
So yeah, this girl character, it's obvious she's like established herself in this mercenary group that she's like one of the stronger fighters. So like none of the guys like really tease her. They treat her like an equal more or less, or like they're scared of her. So I thought that was cool.
Well, at a certain point, because isn't she the one that attacks Guts, and they're all like, "Oh my god, like none of us can beat her, and he's beating her, so he must be a great fighter."
Some of the other guys attack because they're like, "Oh, he's all alone. We can take him and steal his money." And then she's like, "You guys shouldn't do that. He's beat you." And then he starts like killing all the guys that attack him. And then pretty boy Griffith is like,
"You mean his boyfriend?"
Like, yeah, Griffith is like, "You got to go help them." And she's like, "Oh, but I don't wanna." He's like, "That's an order." Anyway. She's like, "Oh, fine." Yeah. And she's like the only one that can kind of hold up a fight against him. She's still kind of like loses, but then Griffith intervenes. But the one kind of weird part, but I guess it was like, since the show tries to be like a dark, gritty show set in a medieval era, then like Griffith like beats Guts and like injures him, but then he doesn't kill him. They take him into the camp and bandage him up and stuff, and then he orders the girl. It's not
to snuggle up with him, because that's a woman's role, is to snuggle up with the boys.
Yeah, the exact words is like a woman is meant to like keep a man warm. He like orders her to like sleep naked next to him for a few days so he doesn't die of hypothermia, which is like, I can understand that happening in the medieval era, but it's like kind of gave me mixed feelings about this character that I was just introduced to.
But she doesn't really like it either. Like, she's pissed off that was her role, and then like her first response when Guts wakes up is to punch him in the face and then leave him.
No, he's got like his ribs are all bandaged up, so as soon as he like gets out of the tent, she walks up to him and like punches him right in his ribs.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I hate you."
I mean, that's kind of good, though. It's not like he wasn't like, "Sleep next to me, woman." And she was like, "Oh, okay, because that's my job." She was like, "I'll do it because you need to be alive, but like, fuck you."
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely could have been worse, so.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a way to introduce you into, it's a different kind of setting than what we're used to, and it almost puts emphasis on her role within the mercenary group, that like she's really highly respected and she has to be really highly skilled to be like, okay, yeah, Griffith was like, "Woman, go sleep with that man," but at the same time all of the other men are afraid of her and all the other men are like, nobody wants to fuck with her. So I think like,
yeah, I wasn't too concerned about it. It was just like a little off-putting at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to like learn more about what'll happen with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Griffith is a pretty interesting character. Third episode, there's a sword fight between Guts and Griffith. And Griffith is like the fast guy with the short, nimble sword, and Guts is like the angry guy with the big sword. And then at one point, Guts like thinks he's gonna deliver the killing blow, but Griffith dodges, and Guts' sword like goes into the ground, and Griffith is like standing on top of his sword. And then Griffith is like, "You can't win now. In order to use your sword, I have to move." And then Guts, I can't remember what he says, but he basically like bites Griffith's sword.
Something about
he puts it in his mouth and like goes.
It's something about like, "Let me show you how your mouth should really be used in battle," and then he like grabs the sword in his teeth.
Yeah, and then he like barrel roll or like somersaults down the hill with him, and then they just start wrestling.
Okay, so this brings me into my yaoi statement.
Okay,
does that not feel like sexual tension? Like,
just replace sword with penis.
You weren't the only one.
Like, the entire time I was like, I could get down with this, because Griffith is very like feminine. He's got long, flowing, white, silvery hair, and he's got a very delicate face, and he wears like this fucking bitchin' helmet when he's going into battle.
Fucking bitchin'.
And then Guts is like the big, strong, tough guy that's like, "No, I won't love you, I can't." And like, I don't know, I just see a lot of yaoi fanfic just coming from that.
I'm sure there is already plenty of
fanfic. I'm sure there's tons, because there's been almost 20 years worth of time to write it. But it just, I don't know, And that made me like the show better, because I was like, I know they're not actually going to have a relationship like that, but a person can dream. And at the same time, their interactions are interesting, because Griffith basically kicks Guts' ass, and Guts is not used to having his ass kicked. And it's kind of like Griffith is bringing like a dog to heel. And
he kicks his ass like twice.
Yeah, well, because he needs his ass kicked twice, because he doesn't get the message the first time. And it's the fucking like Shonen Ai stereotypical personalities. The like one guy that's all like, "Come on, it's no big deal, just hang out with me," and then there's the other guy that's all like, "No, I can't love anyone ever." It's like,
and the other was like, "I'll show you."
Yeah, all you need is for to like have some fucking floating cherry petals and sappy music, and you've got yourself a Shonen Ai. It's great.
Boy.
There's got to be fan fiction of this out there somewhere, Becca. I'm sure.
100%.
Of course
certain.
there is.
But
like
that was
110%.
All I could think at the end of that scene was like, there is fan fiction out there, and I request our listeners send it to me. But like, I really like their chemistry, if that makes sense. Even if it's not on a sexual level, I like their chemistry.
Their relationship.
Yes.
They're still, yeah.
That's my rant. And then I'm really interested to see how the girl comes into it, because I almost get the feeling that there's going to be some sort of weird love triangle there. And it's going to get fucking weird. Like,
the best part, the stuff I enjoyed most about this show was like the characters just seem like really interesting characters that I want to learn more about.
Find out more about, yeah. And that's the kind of thing that would, like, honestly, because I also wanted to pick the 2016 Berserk, and we had a discussion, and I was like, "You can take it, Liam. Like, whatever. I have other shit piled up somewhere else."
I want to do the sword ones.
And I was curious what the show is about in general, because, like I said, I know it's a popular anime, but I haven't heard a lot about it, and I quite enjoyed the first 3 episodes. I wasn't expecting to. I was expecting to come here and be like, "Meh, it was fighting and swords, and that was great," but I'm kind of curious what else happens. Yeah.
Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe after that I'll watch some Naruto or something like that.
Oh god, don't.
I'm just saying.
So you're gonna watch more?
I'm gonna put it on my list, I think.
Yeah. I've definitely put on my list.
And, like, I watched it on YouTube, too, which makes it really nice and easy to find. Pretty fucking decent quality, too. Like, it says 340, but it looks good.
I ended up watching my last episode on Fuji, or on YouTube. And, yeah, it was better than you usually think.
Yeah.
It, like, didn't have a weird crop or overlay. It wasn't flipped.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Well, like, I found some shitty... Yeah, whatever. Like, it's on YouTube, so you can watch the whole first season on YouTube in pretty decent quality. And
right now.
Dubbed on top of it, so, like, I can sit and watch it while I'm working on other shit, which is nice. And because it's older, there's already a lot of content out there about discussions and stuff, so when I'm done and I want to read discussions about it, or, like, other people's thoughts, there's going to be so much out there. It's going to be great.
True.
But... yeah, like I said, I'm kind of surprised that I'm interested in watching more, because I figured it would just be like a one-off, like, that was alright, but not really my speed, and maybe it's a bit more my speed. I don't know, it reminds me a little bit of D&D, which might be part of it as well. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, I definitely added it to my list, and I'm definitely gonna watch more. With that being said, there are other shows, I think... I'm looking at my list right now. I need to keep working on Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, because I have an actual DVD of that I want to watch through. And then I'm really close to being done No Game, No Life. So,
I gotta finish that one. I always forget about it. There was no
too.
reason that I, like, stopped. It's just, like,
Other
just kind of
came up.
forgot about it. Like, shit happened, and
yeah,
I wanted to finish it.
I also need to catch up with Keijo.
I need to fucking finish Kniver.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But everyone keeps telling me how disappointing the end was, so I'm kind of like, meh.
Yeah, I don't know. So after No Game, No Life, I've caught up with Keijo and Ghost in the Shell. Like, Berserk is one of the next ones. It's like it'll either be Berserk or something else. I'm not sure. So many choices.
I feel like Berserk would be great to marathon over Christmas because it like offsets all the sappy like Christmas stuff
With
blood and gore and weird
shit.
sexual chemistry between the two male leads.
I just remembered that Greg told me yesterday that the new season of Game of Thrones is out. And I was expecting it to be out in February, so that's gonna be a thing.
I got it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam pre-ordered. Woo!
You guys haven't seen any of it yet?
Oh, I've seen it.
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
Dun, dun, dun.
I've seen
Not that people
everything.
haven't spoiled shit for me on Facebook.
Still, it's still different when you see it for yourself.
Oh, also, shout out to Melissa, who wrote a cool shonen called Unlikely Sanctuary. Look it up. I made a bet with her at work, and I lost the bet, so she's gonna make me watch an episode of Yuri on Ice.
What was the bet?
Veda just got so excited.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
sorry.
your boner, Veda. It's crazy how quickly it popped up.
She was, we were just betting on, like, how many tips we would get at work that night, and she guessed a better number, so...
Nah.
Yeah, but to be fair, I probably would end up watching it anyways, but now I've actually added it to my list.
You know, I keep meaning to go back to Yuri on Ice. I expected it would come up sometime tonight.
Becca,
It's on the
you need-
list too.
you
It
need to
always
watch
comes
it.
up.
I've got
Okay.
shit on the go, Veda.
Listen to
Hold up.
Veda's voice. She's just like,
Yeah.
someone please just
Someone
watch it so
please
we can
watch
gush together.
No, it's so good. Episode 7. I'm okay. They've already dubbed like a couple episodes though. So.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, they're
Holy
already
shit.
releasing the dub.
Like
Holy.
official dub or fan
Official dub. I'm not
Holy
kidding.
crap.
Also, Becca,
Wow.
Yes.
they have Russian accents.
Oh
And
my
it's great.
god.
It's
wanna-
it's actually fucking hilarious. So
I want to
just
do my Russian accent right now, but it sucks.
do it. Do it.
So much for Berserk.
Yeah, let's talk about Yuri on
Yeah.
Ice for a bit. How cute are they?
Oh my god.
Can they
It's
sing
like the one
giant-
episode that, or not
Can
episode,
they-
the one anime that Veda's just like so passionate
I'm
about.
just, I don't know what it is. Okay, it's just
Can they
I
swing
can't
giant
get into it
swords,
right
Veda?
now. Can what?
Can they swing giant swords?
If they want to.
Okay, I'm gonna take your word on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I've seen 2 of my friends on Facebook already like preview some Yuri on Ice cosplay.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
It's getting huge, man.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, I hope I like it when I watch it, or I'm gonna be like a pariah.
I'm
Been
really
pretty
sorry.
You'll
I'm
like
probably overhyping the shit out of it, so don't
No.
listen to me.
I only watched the first episode. It's good.
Do you like
It's-
figure skating? Do you like,
you like
pretty gay boys?
pretty boys?
Do you like pretty boys?
I
Do you
guess
like
yeah, pretty
A
boys.
kind of pudgy
Do you
boy
like
who's trying to get back in
realistic
shape.
relationships?
Oh, Veda.
Oh, Veda.
Veda's so excited.
I'm sorry. I just made my friend Siobhan watch like all the episodes. I was like, go watch them right now. And then I
And
had
what's
like,
she think?
oh, I had like a huge rant. I like screamed everything about the show.
Oh my god.
We're just gonna have
I was like, so do you love it or do you love it?
we're all just gonna have like finally watched it, and we're just gonna have like a 10-minute mini episode of just Veda like screaming, being like, "Oh my god, it's so good! You have to love it!" Blah blah blah.
I feel so bad because I'm constantly gushing about it. I'm like, no, stop being
No.
annoying.
Remember when I was on like the really high on my Death Parade kick, and I was like, just
Ah.
watch
Yeah.
it, everyone.
It's
Just
because
watch
Death
it.
Parade is fucking
Amazing.
awesome.
You were
Yeah.
right about Death Parade.
And I would imagine Yuri on Ice is also amazing because Veda was the one that told me to watch Death Parade. So Veda fucking knows, guys.
I have good taste,
Mm.
alright? Sometimes.
That's good. That means it reaffirms my Yona of the Dawn. Because sometimes I just wonder if it's me and my shoujo, but
No.
I think it's actually
Yeah,
supposed
we
to
all-
be pretty good.
We all have our anime like that. Like for me, it's Kill la Kill most of the time. So
True.
And other times Evangelion, and other times Ghost in the
Eva.
Shell, and
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
all
yeah,
3 at the same
lately,
time.
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah. By the way, everybody, when
No
you're
denial.
when you're under the influence of certain substances, Ghost in the Shell is a lot different.
Yeah.
But, like, I wouldn't recommend it for your first time watching Ghost in the Shell, because, like, I watched Ghost in the Shell for the 4th time this weekend while I was not sober, but, like,
Due to
Glenn was
substances
like,
in the
like I'm not
Whoa.
gonna say it was just alcohol, and, like, it was pretty overwhelming. but like
Did
in
you
a
get
good
an
way.
uncomfortable boner?
There was boners throughout my body.
Oh wow.
There we go. Were they
And
uncomfortable
boner.
though?
I kept asking everybody, like, guys, is the volume okay?
Yeah.
Like, everything sounded so loud.
Yeah.
Weird.
It
Like
was
with the
pretty
loud,
loud, though.
the loud
You
chanting music, and I'm like, guys, is it too loud? Are we waking the neighbors? They're like, no, it's fine, Liam. Stop asking.
You definitely become a little bit more sensitive to noises, though, when you're under the influence of certain substances.
of sandwiches.
Yeah. Such good sandwiches.
So yeah,
my.
Berserk. Yeah.
Should we let Leah and Veda talk about 2016?
Yeah, let me
Oh
do
boy.
the
boy.
synopsis,
Not
'cause
even
that's
ready.
what I officially have to do.
Liam, can I get you to check something quickly as well? I want
Yes.
to know what the MAL rating difference is between the original and the new one.
Oh, so the original is a 8.4,
Okay.
Mhm.
and Berserk 2016 is a 6.8.
Oh,
Pretty low
Oh,
for
yeah.
MAL.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
quickly
Not
look at the movies that came
Oh, yeah,
out in
there's-
2015 or 2012, 2013. 2012 one is a 7.9.
Mm-hmm.
No, 8.09. Then I think the next one's a sequel that's like a 7.9, and then the third part is a 8 point.
So they've obviously dropped the ball.
And then there's an entry for Berserk 2017, but that one's not out yet. So
You know, sometimes when the original is so good, it's hard to live up to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better to just say, look at how great our original is. We're going to release it 20 million times in different collector's editions.
Mm.
That's how you make your money, rather than trying to do a like a sequel to it.
you know, when the collector's editions are good, like
When they're good, they're so good.
It's like Eureka 7 AO. I was like, what's happening right now?
Still haven't
Couldn't
watched
finish
that.
and then when the box sets are so good, you can't get them because they're only in Japan, and then you're like that feel when
Yup.
Yeah. All the pretty
They
Ghibli
did that
sets.
with Ava.
yeah, wrist in pasta.
Okay.
Hmm.
Do we want to chat about 2016
Mhm.
Berserk?
Okay, so
What's it about?
let me do the synopsis officially because I gotta do that.
It's Liam's job.
So apparently this is in the third arc of the manga, where the show me and Becca watched is in the first arc. So now branded for death and destined to be hunted by demons until the day he dies, Guts embarks on a journey to defy such a gruesome fate as waves of beasts relentlessly pursue him. Stealing his resolve, he takes up the monstrous blade Dragon Slayer and vows to enact vengeance on the one responsible, hunting down the very man he once looked up to and considered a friend.
Oh
Spoilers?
Light
Along the
spoilers.
way, he encounters some unlikely allies, such as a small elf named Puck and Isidro, a young thief looking to learn swordsmanship from the former mercenary. As the ragtag group slowly comes together after having decided to join Guts in his quest, they will face incredible danger unlike anything they have ever experienced before. Ba, ba, ba.
no!
Spooky.
Danger.
Veda.
Initial
I was
thoughts.
gonna say, because you mentioned that Berserk, like the original, started in a bar, like with a bar scene.
They're like a tavern.
Yeah, tavern scene. Sorry. And this one does the same thing where it introduces like the character as he's walking into like this tavern but instead of like a woman being abused, it's like this guy throwing knives at the fairy named Puck, and he's like,
Okay.
"Oh, I'm gonna hit you," and like the same kind of thing happens where he walks in and then like beats a bunch of guys up and leaves with the fairy, I guess.
All right.
Great.
Who's like this
So,
weird
like, it's
sexless naked thing.
Yeah, it is, but it is a fairy, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, that was weird that they drew like they have the same kind of beginning to them.
Mm-hmm.
Throwback.
Yeah, but anyway, my first impression was, okay, so I started and I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna remain open-minded, and the intro came on, and there was a lot of 2D animation in the intro, and I was like, oh,
Interesting.
this animation actually looks pretty good in the intro. Like, it looks decent. There's some like janky 3D in there, but it still looks okay. And I was like, oh, maybe it got my hopes up, okay? And the song was okay, and I was like, oh, maybe this won't be as bad. And then the show started. And it just smashed
the show
all of my
started.
hopes with an axe.
That's exactly what it
Violently
did to
murdered
me
them.
too.
And threw them in a pond and buried them with
stabbed
mountains
with
of dirt, and
then
it was just
ate me after it cooked me over a fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It was just like it painfully beats you
geez.
over the head with how janky everything looks. Like the mouths was the first thing I noticed. They look really creepy. Like just
it's like
go, yeah.
That was exactly what my initial thoughts were too. And at first, like, this is kind of cool because they have 2D animation in the intro, and it's kind of neat because it's a little more like painterly style. Kind of like, I know Veda, you've played Valkyria Chronicles.
I thought the same thing.
That's what it reminded me of. And then it ends, and then you're like, "Fuck, this is gonna be a long 3 episodes."
My life.
It's like really shitty. It's okay, it's not even shitty. It's just, I can't even describe it. It didn't feel like an anime to me. It was very much almost felt like a 3DS video game. Like, that's how it looked.
It had this like cell shading kind of.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to gritty it up with some like weird lines.
Like Iron Man Armored
shadows.
Adventures. That's what it looked like.
It kind of
saw
like,
that on Teletoon.
It kind of reminded me a bit of like Liam, you've seen Knights of Sidonia.
Oh yeah.
Like, imagine that, but like lower quality.
Yes.
That's what it looks like, and the movements are all really janky. I was watching it, I got the impression that the studio didn't really know how to use 3D, but they were gonna do it anyway because it was edgy.
And then they so basically they swap between the 2D and the CG,
but they do it inconsistently.
Like, for the most part, I find they go back to 2D when they're just doing a conversation between two people, or it's a close-up. As soon as there's any, like, movement involved, it goes back to the CG.
Yes.
They slightly save themselves because of that kind of painterly 2D style they do.
Yeah.
Does translate a little better to the type of CG that they have, but it's still really, like, jarring and distracting. Like, I couldn't enjoy any of the show because I was so, like...
I was really distracted by
the
3D as well, and like half the time I was like, I have to stop writing notes about how bad the animation is because I'm not focusing on the plot.
At a certain point, it's overkill.
And it's not even one of those things where you can say like, oh well, it's just because you're not used to it. But no, there's things like Knights of Sidonia and Ruby that are like people like love, and they're that kind of thing. But I don't know.
I know. And here's like the part of the problem is that it's just horrible 3D animation, but the other part of the problem I had with it was like they have this 3D. They don't use it like 3D should be used. And by that I mean there were tons of times where there were characters in the background who were just completely static, like they're just standing there with like this dead-eyed stare. And it looks really creepy in 3D because like I understand it in 2D because they have to redraw like those characters in each frame, right? And it sucks to redraw some Randy in the background like 100 times. But you have 3D.
Randy.
Some Randy.
I have an uncle Randy.
I enjoyed that.
You're welcome. But like they have this 3D. The characters are already like created. They can just plop that character into the scene and like animate them. But they don't. They just leave them there, and it's creepy in all of the wrong ways, like it's just uncanny.
No, exactly, and I wish that they didn't switch back to the 2D then, like just commit to the 3D because it's almost making them look like they're lazy, which may not be intentional or not, but it's like, okay, so just the conversational talking parts, you're going to do the pretty 2D, but when it comes to movement, you're going to use CG because it's easier to maneuver.
Yeah,
like
but then like sometimes like they would do conversations with the CG and sometimes they wouldn't, and the mouths just looked so uncanny that every time they did like close-ups while they were in like the 3D form, it just looked bad. Like like
and Guts' muscles, there's this one part where he's like his shirt's off and you can see his back and like, oh my god,
how
it's gross.
How built?
It's really built.
Too built, but it's like not even part of it wasn't even like
he had too many six-packs.
Yeah, or like in his back, like his I don't know what the muscle is called, but like between your two shoulder blades, he had like these two long bulges. I don't know.
That's where he keeps his dicks.
Oh dear God.
I don't know.
So I have a question. Does it make either of you feel better that they're reanimating some of the 3D as 2D animation to fix it?
Because I didn't know that, but yes, it does.
Of anger.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
It also makes me happy to hear.
Help.
Yeah, it makes me happy to hear because part of me thought like maybe it's just because, as we all know, I'm not a fan of CG animation. But now I know it's just because it's actually bad and everyone hates it, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also another thing, there was like in the third episode, I'm just jumping ahead because there was an entire flashback scene that was all done in 2D, but the rest of the episode was CG. And I was like, what? It's so random. Like, why would you do that?
So misled. Maybe they were insinuating that the flashback is all about his past, which was drawn by hand in 1997, but his future is 3D animation.
See, that may have worked. That would have been legitimate if they had been carrying that through all the other episodes.
Yes.
I feel like I'm really stretching on their behalf, and they owe me nothing, so I owe them nothing.
But it was just, it was disappointing because the whole time I was looking at it, going like, you know what? I think I could be pretty into this anime if it was animated like the first one. Because it kind of just adds to the like epic gritty tone.
It looks
or whatever.
More gritty. Yeah.
As soon as you put it in CG, to me, I'm automatically related into something for younger audiences. I could not tell you why. I just do. Maybe it's because it reminds me of other things that I've seen in CG that are
like the shitty Digimon transitions they did back in the day.
Yeah.
And other Teletoon shows I've seen and blah blah blah. And it just doesn't translate as well. You can't get as like graphic with it.
Not really.
You know?
So there was that whole scene where like Guts gets whipped by this lady.
Sexy like?
Hot.
Not really.
Is the lady actually
more like Da Vinci Code? Shit.
Yeah, more Da Vinci Code, where like confess your sins, whip, you know. And like it's just you're looking at it, and it's clearly just like they've painted on little red marks onto his body, and they're like he's bleeding.
Yeah,
and I was just like that's
hurt, very pain.
Yeah, like I buy that injury. 100%. Like there's parts like that. There's a lot of parts like that where it's just. The CG just doesn't translate.
It just takes away from it, like, completely. 100%.
Yeah, it takes you out of the immersion, too.
Yeah.
I noticed a couple times, like, even just the way they animated it, the hands. I don't know what it is. CG and hands always look fucking weird. And, like, there were moments where they would just do, like, the Lego hands. Where they're not, like, the fingers don't move, and you're like, that looks natural.
I just want to stop for a minute and say, dude, have you ever actually really looked at your hands? They're fucking weird.
Yeah, I know, but they move.
Really true.
At least they move. They don't just stick. They're not glued together.
I don't know. I feel like the Lego hands would be an interesting, like, choice for anime. Like, they're just consistently locked in that, like, I'm gonna grab my dick position.
Like Barbies?
Yeah.
It's like the potato feet from Dramatical Murder.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that.
I wish I had forgotten about that.
Oh man, yes.
That was so bad.
All I wanted was a musical anime. Like, Dramatical Murder.
I feel like it wouldn't be getting as much hate if it was a new show. Instead of being like, because it's a continuation of Berserk, which is already like a hugely loved like series, right? And all the rest of it has been in 2D, and then they just throw this like weird CG crap at everyone, and they're like, "This is your new Berserk," and everyone's like, "This is awful."
Fucking like it, bitches.
Yeah.
I wanted pretty 2016 2D anime, not this.
Well, and you know, it would have been one thing if they had done all the movies with the CG, because they're kind of newer as well. Because then I would have been like, well, this was the show in the 80s, 90s, this is it now.
Yeah.
I might be slightly more forgiving, I'd still hate it, but I'd be like, okay, fine,
it would have been
whatever.
Consistent, at least.
Yeah. But if you do, like, the movies that have come out in the last 5 years all in 2D, and then you do this in CG, it's kind of like, well, you better make it good, or else, you know, people are going to rage, which they did.
I saw a couple pictures from the movies, from the 2015 movies, and they look really good. Like, just the still shots that I saw, and I was like, why didn't they just do that?
Well, especially because I saw when they do have the bits of 2D in the 2016 Berserk, you want more of it. Like, it looks it's interesting, it looks really good, like, you know, and then they crush your soul.
It looks well done.
Yeah.
And then it switches and you're like, oh, my eyes.
Yep. Because I can't even, like, I had a hard time even sitting there watching it, trying to think about, like, okay, Leah, like, what about the plot, though? How are you feeling about this? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm so distracted. I just can't.
Yeah. As far as the plot, I would say I was interested by it. But, like, the way they explained stuff was a little confusing because I haven't seen the rest of Berserk. Like, it wasn't, like, I couldn't watch it. It was just, there was stuff where I was like, okay, that's obviously a reference to the 90s anime, but I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, like, it didn't stop. It didn't make you necessarily confused, but it definitely made you stop and go like, okay, this is obviously a connection.
Yeah.
But then that was frustrating too, because I'm watching this whole thing and it just makes me want to go and watch the original one.
Same. Where I was just like, why don't I just go watch the other one?
Yeah, because it sounds way more interesting and intriguing. And, like, based off the 3 episodes of this one we watched, and then listening to Liam and Becca talk about theirs, it's like, sounds like a completely different show, because I'm basing it off of the 3 episodes I watched. They were, like, kind of dry, boring, whatever, typical battles, whatever. But then you guys explain it, and it sounds like there's all this, like, action, and, like, relationships forming, and, like, you know, this, that, and the other.
There was action.
See, I will say, the first...
No, I know there's action. I'm saying that's kind of the only thing that there was. Maybe it's because I didn't really like the blonde girl, but whatever, we can get into that later.
Yeah, we can get into that.
See, I can say in the first 3 episodes, like, the show was paced very well, but, like, like, you're getting a good mix of everything. It's not, like, super fast-paced or anything.
Our show is, like, the opposite, where it was paced not well. And there were, like, parts where stuff was happening, and then they would just, like, switch gears and move to this other thing that was happening, and it's like, okay, scene's over, I guess.
Because this sucks.
Yeah, part of me stopped and was like, okay, Leah, like, you might be feeling that way because this is a sequel, so of course you want to go watch the first one. Like, to people who have seen it, this probably doesn't seem that dry to them. But the pacing was really bad.
It
like,
was.
It was pretty poor.
Yeah.
It didn't keep you engaged.
No.
I'll say that.
Let's talk about her.
Yeah.
Her?
So,
boy.
You guys mentioned that, like, in the 90s version, the women, like, the female portrayal was really good.
Well, I mean...
At least for one of them.
Besides, like, that whole, like, borderline sexually assaulting the barmaid type deal... It was really uncomfortable.
I have something worse, but we'll get into that later. This 2016 version is horrible for this.
So bad.
Okay, so should we explain, like, should I explain the story at all?
Yeah, probably.
There's a story?
Slightly.
Yes, there is something of a plot to this show.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. Okay, first episode. First episode is basically just you meeting Guts, and then he kills a bunch of people, and then... No, wait, he punches a bunch of people, and then he goes and kills a bunch of skeletons because all the demons are chasing him now. And then some girl gets killed on a spear, and then, I don't know, a bunch of other people get killed, and he kills a bunch of people, and... that's what happens in the first episode. And then the trees come to life.
Oh,
and I
shit.
had no idea what was happening after that, because the animation was so bad, I didn't know. Like, the
frame
rate.
This whole thing sounds entertaining.
Do the trees carry him to Isengard?
No, they don't. They're stuck.
I
but
wish they
like
ends.
eat...
That would make this so
Sick
much
reference,
better.
dude.
Yeah, solid.
Good job.
Fucking nailed it.
They, like, try to eat the dead girl, I don't know, and then he, like, has some sort of weird flashback, and then, like, is like, no, don't eat the dead girl, and I don't know, some stuff happens, and then the episode ends. I can't remember how it ends.
With trees eating the girl?
This, like, army or whatever
I don't know if it's an army,
up.
it's like a bunch of knights.
Troop? Yeah,
troop. Troop is good.
Yeah.
A bunch of knights shows up,
word.
and they're being led by this, like, one girl in pink, purple armor, and then she's got a guy with green armor.
You know she's a woman by the pink, purple armor.
Exactly.
I'd like to point out, our chick, when she's first introduced, she gets, like, her helmet knocked off, and Guts is like, oh my god, she's a woman, because he didn't realize before her helmet
But he
came
still
off.
tries to kill her.
No, this is blatantly obvious.
This is, like, the opposite.
She's the typical, like, blonde with pigtails, colored armor, has never really been in battle before.
But they that was the thing that confused me. They introduced her and she's clearly leading all of these knights, but she's never been in battle before. And I was like, then why is she leading
I get
them?
the feeling she ended up leader by default or something.
I think maybe it's because she's it's her bloodline.
Yeah, for the bloodline, but she's never actually been in combat and stuff like that. I don't know.
So anyway, they're trying to capture Guts because he killed the people in the first episode, I think.
Which he didn't actually, but they don't know that. And blah, blah, blah.
There's this whole thing. Yeah. Even though he did kill a bunch of skeletons.
Yeah.
It's typical
not
anime.
Necessarily relevant, so.
No.
Anyway.
But yeah, and so then so her troop of knights is trying to capture him, and they're like, get him! And of course, he's he got injured with the tree fight somehow, I think. I can't remember.
That's the thing. It was all a blur. I remember going into between the first episode and the second episode, and I was like, wait, what?
What happened? I don't even know what happened at the end of the first episode. It was fucking weird. No, I'm with you. And then, so she captures... Well, they don't capture him. They have a huge fight, and he ends up killing, all of her knights. But then how does...
He ends up killing, a bunch of them, so then the main, leader guy, who's basically... the general,
second in
who's
command.
Basically the leader, because the girl's technically useless.
Yes.
It's all well, I'll fight you myself, blah, 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 blah. And Guts is okay, sure, but really he's fuck that, and going for the girl, because she's the leader. And he just, jumps over her, and then goes to, attack her. But then she somehow manages to, just kind of smack him with her sword, basically.
I wasn't clear on what happened there.
It was really unclear.
I thought a piece of wood hit him in the knee and he fell over.
No, it was so fucking unclear. He's and again, I think it comes down to the CG too, because you can't really you could tell that they weren't really comfortable with doing that close, intensive combat, and you can't see. So he's runs and lunges at her with his sword, and then it's I literally can't even explain it.
It looks like she nicked him with her little rapier on his neck, and then he falls over.
Yeah, she pulls out her sword, but it's not impaled. It looks like it's literally lightly resting on it, and that there's a little sliver on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But then he
and here's the thing,
passes out, and she's like, I was the one who took him down?
That's the thing, though. When she pulls out her sword, she screams. She's no, he's coming at me. She's just gonna, swack the sword in front of him and see if it hits him.
Which is pretty much
what
happened.
She clearly has no idea what she's doing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was just really sad. And then, he passes out for some unknown reason, and they capture him. They take him back to their night camp.
Where she decides to interrogate him, which is where you discover
no, not sexy-like.
A, religious bigot.
Oh god.
Yeah, they do remove all of his clothes except for his underwear.
Yeah.
That's sexy.
So, you get to see
she grabs a cat of nine tails whip. It's not sexy. It's just fucking awful.
You get to see his weird muscles, all those bulgy muscles.
And she's like, tell me what I want to know before we send you off to King C or something like that. Holy C, yeah, whatever. Whoever that is. And then he's no. And then he starts insulting her religion, basically. So she starts freaking out and attacking him with the whip.
She whips him a bunch of times.
Yeah. And then some of her knights come in and are what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then take him away. And then later you find out she's whipping herself in punishment, the whole. What was
that religious people do when they're I've been bad, and they
Was that the Da Vinci Code it happened in?
Yeah,
that's why
it was the
yeah.
And then he wears a leg brace or something that consistently hurts him to remind him of his faith.
Just like that.
Yeah.
But she's topless, right? Because she doesn't want to ruin her top, right? So they have that whole scene where she's just whipping herself.
And which looks terrible in CG.
Oh god, and she has no nipples.
All of her nippleless boobs.
They look really
with no
bizarre.
flow.
You're not talking me out of watching this show.
Just wait. Just wait, Becca.
No.
Wait.
I mean, I feel for nothing else I have to see this weird fucking CG whipping scene because it just sounds so weird.
It's just bad.
It's not good.
No, it's not good because it's anticlimactic is what it is.
I don't expect it to be good. I'm confused how they she's topless, surprise. But
they don't.
It's not going to be fun for anyone.
Okay, the fairy helps Guts escape from wherever they drag him to after she's whipped him.
The tent.
So he escapes, and
Set something on fire.
Yeah, the girl stole this, like, totem he had or whatever, so he went back to her tent to get it back, and it's the whole, like, he's peering through the tent, and that's how she's whipping herself with her top off.
Yeah, and then he sees her.
Yeah, so that's how you see it, but...
And then
but
he,
it's
like,
bad because it's just slow, and it doesn't look painful, like, it's just bad.
She's just like,
Anyway, basically he ends up kidnapping her
Are they trying to suggest it's supposed to be erotic for him?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Not in the slightest.
That's so fucking weird. Like...
No, here's the thing.
The thought of, like... Okay, go ahead.
He captures her, he ties her hands behind her back, and then he steals a horse, like, while threatening, he's like, I've got this captive, I'm gonna kill her, and all the people are like, okay, we'll let you go free.
Yeah, because but this was one funny part, because he had a torch in his hand.
Oh my god, I forgot about that!
Yeah, he throws her over his shoulder, and
so
has
her butt's
a torch,
out.
And walks out of the tent, and the general's like, you're injured, like, how do you think you're gonna escape from here? And he's got this, like, obviously you guys don't understand the concept of burning to death, and he's like, because all you see is her ass by his head because she's thrown over the shoulder, right?
Yeah,
he's like, I'll burn her ass,
and he, like, moves the torch over,
like, literally to her ass. You have to see it.
Wait, he doesn't say that?
Yeah, he says, I'll burn her ass.
I'm like,
that's great.
It was the best part of the whole show,
and the whole time I was like, I don't know if they meant that just to sound aggressive, or if he's literally saying he will burn her ass.
He will burn her ass.
So at least watching the second episode. It sounds fucking weird.
It is, though. So then he throws her over a horse, and him and her and the little fairy thing, they're running away and escaping.
Is it an actual little fairy, or is it just like a small...
It's a little fairy. No, a little naked person with no genitals.
Yep.
Nobody has
just
genitals
like in
the
Garzy's
show.
wing.
We did see...
Actually, Garzy's
it reminded me of Garzy's wing.
We did see in the original series, there's like a dream he's having where he's a child and he's running away from something, and he's apparently naked, except they give him like the Ken doll treatment.
They do that a lot in anime.
Which is kind of funny, so...
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I was okay with that because, like, it was a dream sequence.
Yeah, no, like, I didn't care. I was just like, oh, Ken doll treatment. Okie dokie, and, like, keep rolling.
Okay, but to be honest, the only penis I've ever seen in anime was Shippo.
Oh god, yeah.
I've seen...
What the fuck is that?
Goku in Dragon Ball, you see his dick in the first episode. But he's a kid, so...
No, exactly, yeah. It's
why is it always little kids?
Stereotypical little, like...
Because naked children are hilarious, but naked adults are just naughty.
Awkward.
I love your description of that, Lee.
I hope you guys can envision what I meant.
I know exactly what you mean.
The little, like, U treatment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, like, 2 little U's for the balls, and then, like, 1 other little U for the penis, and you're like, it's genitals.
Yep.
Basically.
Yes. But anyway, yeah, they're running away. He's captured her. All of a sudden, like, all of these demons start, like, weird demon things.
He has this mark on his neck that, like, attracts demons.
He's been, like, branded, I think they call it.
Yeah,
and so, like, they're running away, and she's like, what's going on? And he's just like, shut up, whatever. I'm gonna knock you out if you don't stop whining.
I'm gonna light your ass on fire.
Yeah, basically. And, like, all of these things are coming after them, and then where do they go after he captures her? Oh, right, he's running towards some town.
All of the, like, transitions into the next episodes are so unclear. Granted, I wasn't paying the best attention, but I feel like I get to the next episode and every time, and I'm like, what?
The whole next part was just
I really just want to get to the horse.
Okay, but we gotta get past everything else first.
Okay.
I'll try and be quick here. So, like, they get to this town, and, like, the demon things are still chasing them, and they, like, they end up in a house at some point.
Like a mansion?
Yeah, this, like, big mansion, and it doesn't look like there's anybody there. And so then, like, she's, like, running around topless, of course. It felt like a really shitty horror movie, you know?
Yeah, so they go into this, like, abandoned mansion. It's got, like, animal heads everywhere, but then, like, the centerpiece is this girl's head, like, basically someone mounted a girl's head, but, like
imagine
not like
she's
dead, like
but
a
woman.
full-on,
like,
she still looks alive and preserved and whatever.
Kind of like in Return to Oz. Does anybody else remember that show?
I've seen it, I just don't remember.
Oh boy, we're gonna do something later. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah.
Girl's head mounted.
Girl's
anyway,
head.
so
I forgot about that.
They're wandering around the house, and then all of a sudden these like hellhound things come out.
But they're fucking like they have like weird human-y faces and like these like purplish bodies, and like they just look weirdly muscular, and
and then
they're really uncanny.
Yeah, and then this other guy comes out who basically looks like Gluttony, and I'm like, okay,
the whole thing is like
this show was not helping me avoid my FMA binging.
True.
I wanted to be watching FMA. First episode, you find out Guts has like he's missing half his arm.
He's missing an arm.
Then a Gluttony basically shows up in episode 3, and I'm like, okay, thanks for dangling the Brotherhood in front of my face right now, because that's what I would be watching. Here's a better show
you could be watching.
The arm thing was there in the 97 one.
But yeah, so the whole thing ends up like Guts starts killing all of the weird hellhounds, and the girl runs away from him, and that's how she finds that weird Gluttony guy. Yeah. And she thinks he's gonna help her for some reason, which I don't know why, because he looks fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
But she's like, here, untie me, and he's like, meat, and you're like, what? Okay, so then
only you're not like, what? It's like, oh great, it's gonna be one of those cannibal bullshit things.
Yeah, so then he starts talking about, he's like, he eats people, and like the dogs, he's in charge of all the dogs that are attacking them. And then like Guts bursts through the door and is like, the guy freaks out because Guts is killing all of the dogs, right? He's like,
they're like his family.
Kill the dogs, they're my family. And he's like, I don't know, he ends up transforming into this giant weird monster business it was weird.
And again, all CG, so you're like, I could see why you would use this for CG, because it looks kind of cool, but then because you use CG, all the action looks like shit, because there's no action, basically,
like,
anymore.
The design of the creature was, like,
was good.
Decent. Yeah, and, like, in CG, it looks really creepy, so you're like, that's genuinely terrifying. I get it. But then they try and do, like, action, and like
but again, back to FMA. In Brotherhood, when they make Envy a CG green giant monster, it looks really good.
There you go.
Because they have it integrated.
And that's even older.
Exactly. So,
what are you doing wrong, Berserk?
God.
They're just artists. Anyway, you don't get them.
So basically, long story short, Guts kills the Gluttony dude, whatever, moving on. And then the girl's like, this is a perfect opportunity for me to run away while he's busy killing things. Still topless.
Yeah, still topless.
Still very topless. Runs into this, like, other room or something like that.
And then a horse is there.
Yeah, but, like, at first you're not even sure he's a horse, but...
Because it's, like, really... fat.
I don't know.
It's, like, weirdly disproportioned.
Yeah, so the horse thing, like, pins her on the ground.
Okay, wait. First she runs into the room, and, like, it's all, like, fat and distorted, and she's like, oh, the horse! I'm going to ride the horse! And the horse turns to her and goes,
right.
and it has this, like, horrifying face, and it's like, no! And she's like, what?
With a really long tongue.
And then it pins her to the ground.
Right.
And then...
And says...
The horse talks.
The horse does talk, and it says,
and then proceeds to start licking her boobs with his, like, outrageously long tongue, like, all over.
Like, weirdly grope licking her face and her boobs.
This is the one time you kind of see outlines of nipples.
Asking for a friend, this is all just episode 2, right?
This is episode 3.
This is episode 3. So episode 2 transitions into episode 3.
If you want, Becca, you watch, like, the last, like, 7 minutes of episode 2.
Okay. Yeah.
And then watch episode 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even then, you could probably skip halfway through episode 3.
I'm probably not actually going to go watch it.
Don't do it. It's
not worth it.
And then
but we're not done yet.
We're not done.
Oh, we're not done.
Okay, no. Sorry. I interrupted.
So. It's just, like, the only entertaining thing about this entire show.
Oh my god.
So whatever, the horse is basically, like, trying to, like,
rape
her with his tongue or whatever. And then Guts comes in, and he gets, like, this weird flashback thing of, like, we're not sure what it is, but, like, a vision of, like, one second he's seeing, like, the horse on top of her, and then the other second it's, like, this other monster.
I thought it was, like, a woman pinned down.
Or a woman, sure. I
don't know what was going on. I was confused.
Whatever. Anyway, so whatever, he kills the horse. No big deal. Whatever. And then, again, this is the other part I'm kind of... I also watched these a little while ago. I'm kind of unclear how the transition happened.
She, like... I don't remember exactly, but she's freaking out, right? Because she's like, weird horse raping. And then she gets possessed, I think.
Yeah,
by one of the weird demon creatures. So it like comes up behind her, and it's there's this really long shot of it like grabbing her boob, and it's just like still on that.
It's a succubus.
Okay.
Like possesses her.
Yeah, and
but the part that's weird is like all of a sudden she's kind of in a different room from Guts, and then whatever she gets because he doesn't realize at first that she's possessed by the succubus.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she gets possessed, and then she's like, and the succubus is telling her about how like, you know, she liked whipping Guts and she liked violence and it made her feel lustful and blah blah blah. So she's like, great, I'm gonna take all my clothes off. I'm gonna go find Guts and I'm basically gonna make him like rape me with his sword.
Yeah. The sword. Not even just... So she, like, sits on the sword.
Well, and first she's naked. First she's naked, then she makes Guts lie down on the ground, and he's like, I'm a dumb male. I'm just gonna accept this. Whatever. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know why.
None of this makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
So whatever, she's talking all, like, sexy or whatever, and he's just like, I don't really know what's happening. And then she's like...
He's got
takes his sword and is, like, literally puts it, like...
She's sitting. They censored
she's
it.
Basically about to like lower her like it into her vagina, basically.
And she says like, "Rip it through me," or I don't know, something like that. Like she's like, "Tear me in half with the sword." Slowly.
Yeah.
Possessed.
I think it's because the succubus is like, you know, still in the end like trying to kill the girl, but like
it
get
was
her kicks
weird
out of
as
it.
Fuck.
I don't know. But then
it
like
just came out of nowhere.
A wall breaks and the light shines through and the succubus like releases her body and then like she realizes she's like naked and on top of Guts.
Yeah.
And like they didn't quite prelude if they actually... I think it was just the sword that was getting the action, but
it was.
Yeah.
They censored a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think they were okay, so like my understanding of Berserk in general is it's a pretty brutal show. Do you think they were just going for like no guts, no glory, like shock value in the first few episodes?
Sorry.
A little bit.
I feel like they were, but the problem is, and I know I keep saying it, is the CG makes it lose any like value that it might
like
have
seriousness
had.
Or
yeah, exactly. But like I can't take it seriously.
No.
Yeah, but like even the story you're telling, it makes like zero sense. Like what?
I can't. I don't know if maybe it's just because the way they did the animation just makes everything so confusing that I have no idea what happened. And maybe there would have been more subtle things that happened in the background or that was explained that I just missed because I was just horrified. I don't know. Maybe it's explained better in the manga. I have no idea.
Yeah, because I can't even quite explain it, how it's just... You'll literally be watching, and in the span of like 2 seconds, it's like you're confused, and you're like feel like you missed something.
Yeah,
and but you can't even really say why. Yeah, because you didn't miss anything. But like, I don't know.
It's just so like muddled. It doesn't know how to tell a straight story.
But yeah, so she gets off of Guts, and then the broken wall where the light's shining through, one of her knights basically came to like save her. You can tell he's gonna be more of an important character.
Yeah.
But whatever. And she's all like, kill him now. And the dude's like, well, I didn't see what happened, so I'm not killing him. Which really means he'll kill me. So suck it up and let's leave.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they have like a little bit of a like Guts tries like Guts is all like, oh, they're standing next to each other and then they're acting all like suave. They're like, oh, we're guys, we're not gonna hit each other with the swords, and then they hit each other with the swords, but they don't. They like face off, and then they're like
impressive skills,
and then they just walk away from each other. And there was still like 10 minutes left in the episode, and I was like, what?
And you know what's
and then they have that giant...
They had the perfect opening for an inappropriate joke, and they just didn't take it. Because the fairy who's like standing next to Guts, like after she's leaving, still like naked or whatever.
Yeah.
The fairy's like, I feel really bad for her. Like she's like really wound up. And Guts is like, what are you talking about? I'm the one who's wound up. And like I thought it meant like because she was just like naked and on top of him. But it was actually because he's like, I got all these ghosts following me and blah, blah, blah.
And like, he's just tortured inside.
You should have left it as an inappropriate joke.
No. But yeah, they have, and then like after that happens, they have like a whole long flashback, or not flashback, or I don't know what's going on. It's all in 2D for some reason, and they allude to Griffith because there's just like this old dying man being like, Griffith.
Who is still
and then
pretty
it
in
ends.
2D.
And that was the
CG,
first
by
3
way.
episodes.
Still a
I
pretty
don't-
boy.
They show him in CG? I thought they showed him in a bunch of flashbacks that were all in 2D, and he had really pretty lips.
I guess so, but I don't know.
It's
But even their 2D has got a weird...
It has a weird, like, shininess to it.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's fucking weird.
So are you gonna watch any more?
Nope.
Oh god, no. Also, the music was kind of odd. Like...
Oh, we didn't talk about the music from '97.
I thought it was
liked
kind of forgettable, so I don't really...
I
noticed it because, like,
I thought the music was good.
Was it just instrumental?
Yeah, but, like, I thought it was fitting. Wasn't, like, obtrusive.
Like, I'm not remembering it, so it, like I usually say, it either has to be really good or really shitty for me to notice, so it probably fit just right.
That's good. I noticed, like, occasionally there would be, like, big orchestral pieces where, like, something dramatic was happening and it'd be all, like, whoa, in the background with, like, violins and shit. But then, occasionally during fight scenes, it would be, like, this weird rock music with a mix of dubstep.
Is there,
They would have weird, like blah, blah, blah,
guitar
noises.
licks and shit?
I feel like my brain was just so distracted and overwhelmed as it was. Like, I don't even remember the music.
That's fair. The animation was so horrifying. I don't blame you. It just, I don't know. Some of it fit and some of it didn't, and it was just a bit weird, which is why I noticed it.
Yeah.
Typical shitty anime having shitty music on top of it all.
Yes.
Well, then, it's been a very contrasty episode.
Yeah.
So, long story short, listeners, go watch the original.
Don't
Maybe
watch
give
the 16.
16 a try when they,
Drop
fix
it on
their shit a little
Blu-ray?
bit.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll
Pull
start
the
with
Sailor
the
Moon
movies.
crystal,
Yeah.
I kept thinking about Sailor Moon Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
They threw in
Also-
some shitty CG.
They fix it in season 3 though. They got rid of a lot of that shitty CG that's
Thank
like
God.
fucking, like Digimon evolutions from fucking 2002.
See, but I still stand by those made sense because of the whole show was about digital stuff and
I think your argument, you're right. That fits for Digimon.
I didn't care
Not
for
for
it
Sailor Moon.
in the new Digimon Try.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it in that. But at the time, this is gonna sound kind of weird. It's like the CG was shitty enough that it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like the difference is too stark. You know what I mean?
Well, and I don't know. I'm not necessarily, if something has CG, like if anime has CG in it, I'm not necessarily about to write it off. Like there's been some good CG.
Oh, for sure. It's just all about how they blend it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I don't think CG is a bad thing. It's just not used well in Berserk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It sounds like it's used wonderfully.
No.
It's an art. It's a discussion on how our emotions ruin us, and then we kill shit.
In Berserk, horse ride you.
Oh!
God.
Just a little bit of the nipples.
But the no nipples, because there was
Becca, that
no
was
nipples.
too close to the actual episode. Please don't do that again.
Me.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never
Never
again.
again.
That's it. Not watching that. No. Nope.
Yay!
Yay?
It's always a better
She's
episode.
happy about our despair.
Now we know.
It's always a better episode when people are crying at the end over how shitty something
Okay,
is.
we suffer so that the
You
other
don't
weebs
have
don't
to.
have to.
Yeah. Listeners, wink.
Wink, wink.
Both eyes.
You're welcome.
Double
Oh.
wink. I'm
Okay,
listening.
do we want to do the
Social
poll?
media plug.
No,
No, we're not even
marbles.
halfway there, Leah.
Hey, good night, everybody.
You guys.
But I just wanna
No one knows what we're watching.
I actually just completely forgot. This is what Berserk has done to my brain.
It's just killed it.
It's just done.
rotted.
It's like, hey, let's just get this episode over with. Never talk about it
my
again. Okay,
God.
done.
We're gonna talk about this so much more later on.
Oh lordy.
I'm gonna have a Berserk viewing party.
No.
Just the horse
But, like,
parts,
just the
though.
horse part.
Oh.
Yeah.
Veda,
And the
please
really
be
sexy-
kind this week.
And the really sexy fight
All I
scene
ask
between...
is no CG, no magical girls, and I don't know. Nothing
there's-
slice
there's
of life. Okay?
Lots of
Neither-
stuff
none of
Leah
those
likes.
things.
Okay, thanks, I love you.
You're welcome.
Marble draw, let's do it.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Who's going first? I'm gonna go
Leah.
first. Fuck all ya.
Oh, no.
What?
I got a white marble.
Okay.
I was gonna say Leah or Veda should go first because I feel bad, but
I
Don't
never
feel
go
bad.
first, okay?
That's true. She doesn't.
And I got a
for
white
it.
marble. Who
Yes.
wants to go next now?
Me.
Veda, you get a white marble.
Woo!
I feel like I'm gonna get the red marble.
Uh-oh.
Let's find out.
Leah, who would like to go next?
Leah, you can go first.
I'll go.
Aw,
I think it's gonna be red.
Leah got the red marble.
God fucking damn it.
That worked out well. Just
Alrighty.
think of all the payback you can take.
Who are you picking, Leah?
Becca.
Aw,
Ooh.
sweet. I feel like we haven't talked for a while.
Yeah, that's what I thought
Yeah,
too. I was like,
fair
it's
enough.
It's time for some Becca time.
Yeah, it's about time.
Mhm.
I hope I get something good to bitch about.
And we do enjoy bitching together. We've
Yes.
always done that best. So
We're really good at bitching.
I guess.
Good job.
You fucking nail it.
I
What are
think
we
that's how we
watching?
became friends in school, to be honest. Mixture
Yeah.
of the expo and bitching.
That's how I bond the best, is with somebody I can bitch with.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
If you can't stand my bitching, you can't stand me. Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. Alright, what are we watching?
So my theme for this week, I kind of just went with action, superpower, supernatural stuff.
Ooh.
Right
Sort
up my
of.
alley.
I like all those things.
Too bad
Yeah,
I'm watching
right?
the
I
bad
was like,
one.
These sound like fun. So do you want the bad one or the good one first?
Bad, please.
Bad?
Bad.
Just rip it off. Rip the band-aid.
Okay, so the bad one is called Seikon no Quasar, or the Quasar of Stigmata.
That sounds fucking awful. What is it? What?
I have no idea.
Is it stigmata when you get, like, marks on your palms like Jesus?
I don't know.
Actually,
Don't know.
I think you might be right. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, do so.
Please?
I will read you the description.
Stigmata is a term used by members of the Christian faith to describe body marks, sores, or sensations of pain in locations corresponding to the crucifixion wounds of Jesus Christ,
Oh.
such as hands,
Quasars?
wrists, and feet.
Well, there you
Quasars
go.
of the stigmata.
Quasar.
That's the
How do you
bad
spell
one.
This is
quasar?
gonna
Yeah,
be
that's the bad
fucking
one.
weird.
Qua-
Okay,
Quasar?
Oh.
Sorry.
what's
Yeah.
it about?
Seriously, please. Oh, cute. Okay, sorry.
At Saint wait, how do you say this? Love Academy, a series of serial murders have taken place with all the victims being young women. Who
Why
is
it
this
always
rampant
murders?
culprit, and which beautiful maiden will fall prey to his evil next?
Probably the viewer.
Yeah, probably. After a horrible day of being harassed by their classmates, the adopted sisters, Mafuyu Oribe, and Tomo Yamanobe, stumble across an injured young man and decide to bring him back to their place to recover. That very night, Mafuyu ends up at the mercy of the infamous serial killer. Strangely, he demands not her life, but instead an icon left behind by Tomo's father. Luckily, Sasha, the mysterious young man, that the sisters had taken in, comes to rescue just in time, helping Mafuyu avoid the same fate as the other victims. Sasha reveals that he is a quasar, an individual capable of controlling scientific elements by partaking in soma, a miraculous essence
Oh my
found
God.
within the breasts of women.
Oh my
Capable
god.
of manipulating iron.
Yes!
Have you guys
Sasha crafts a giant scythe and slays the serial killer. He enrolls in the academy the next day, signaling the beginning of a very interesting school year.
You know what?
want
I'm
him to
so
fucking
excited.
enroll.
Hey, have you guys
And it's
read
2D, that's all I want.
have you guys
and-
read Brave New World?
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
Okay,
I
'cause,
think-
like I feel like Soma is a reference to Brave New World, but we can talk about it next week.
Well, and I was
Oh,
going to
look
say,
it up.
actually, if his name is Sasha, that makes sense, because I think it's Saints, like, Mihalov Academy, like, I think it's Russian.
Oh!
So Sasha would make sense for a guy.
I understand now.
Yeah.
So we're watching a recreation of Brave New World.
No, like this sounds like a weird mashup of Bible references and other
Literary references. The fact that he enrolls in the school the next day already tells me that it's just gonna be fucking average at best.
Yeah.
Probably.
Who's
It's so
watching
true.
this one?
Me
Leah
Veda.
and Becca. They are.
Mhm.
It has a 6.83 on Mal.
That's
Where did
pretty
you
low
find
for
this?
Mal.
Yeah, it's low, but it's not as low as it could be.
Wasn't
It's
Berserk
true.
like an 8.6?
Not the
No,
2016.
2016 was a 6.8.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I
Just
got my numbers
flip the
mixed up.
numbers, right?
But I mean, that was pretty shitty from what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it was.
It truly was.
Where did you find this?
I've known about it for a weirdly long time, but I've because I was watching a channel and they talked about it, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Veda knows all.
I am a weeb and I spend all of my time on the internet. The good one is Kekai Sensen or Blood Blockade Battlefront.
Blood Blockade Battlefront.
Yes, the English title. Supersonic monkeys, vampires, talking fishmen, and all sorts of different supernatural monsters living alongside humans.
God damn it, Veda!
What?
This is like exactly the shit I love.
Yeah, this has been part of daily life in Hell Salem's Lot, formerly known as New York City, for some time now. When a gateway between Earth and the beyond opened 3 years ago, New Yorkers and creatures from other dimensions alike were trapped in an impenetrable bubble and were forced to live together. Libra is a secret organization composed of eccentrics and superhumans, tasked with keeping order in the city and making sure that chaos doesn't spread to the rest of the world. Pursuing photography as a hobby, Leonardo Watch is living a normal life with his parents and sister, but when he obtains the all-seeing eyes of the gods at the expense of his sister's eyesight, he goes to Hell Salem's Lot in order to help her by finding answers about the mysterious powers he received. He soon runs into Libra, and when Leo unexpectedly joins their ranks, he gets more than what he bargained for. Kekai Sensen follows Leo's misadventures in the strangest place on Earth with his equally strange comrades, as the ordinary boy unwittingly sees his life take a turn for the extraordinary.
This anime looks really pretty.
Spoiler alerts. I think I watched the first episode of this at Otafest.
It's a 2015 anime. So
yeah, I think they had it in a screening room, and I went in and watched part of it.
Interesting.
But I'll watch it again. I don't remember it that well.
I heard about it a while ago, and I was like, well, I saw an AMV for it, actually, and I was like, that looks pretty. I want to watch it.
It looks really pretty. I'm watching the little, Mal trailer it has.
Ah, yeah. Mm-hmm. So hopefully this is fun. I don't know. It sounds fun.
I'm sad I'm not watching the good anime.
Me too.
Yay!
I never watch the ones I want.
One day Veda will get her comeuppance.
Hey, I had to watch the bad anime
I think we're still Veda for fucking 8 weeks of bad anime.
I didn't even know how that happened. Just did.
I don't know.
All right.
So excited.
Solid record.
I'm sorry.
Okay, now can we do the social media plug?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go, Leah.
Oh, I have to do it.
You're the one.
Yeah, you're the one who wanted it. Go, Leah.
Okay, listeners. Thanks for listening thus far. We are on Facebook. We are on, I was going to say Twitter. We're not on Twitter.
We're not on Twitter. We barely keep Facebook going.
We are on Facebook. Twitter. We are on Podbean. We are on iTunes. We also now all have My Anime List accounts, which we will have posted in the last episode, and we may have forgotten.
I'll just keep posting
in time travel, so we'll just keep putting it in.
Our social media blurb in our little blibbity thing is just going to start getting longer. It's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Please comment. Let us know that, you're alive.
Yeah, that'd
Makes
be great.
Us feel good. Perfect. All right.
Tune in next week.
I'm here.
Thanks for listening,
tune in next
everybody.
Week where some of us pay better attention.
Yeah.
Bye.
I love you.